Josh Gibson. I am in my second year at Claremore High School as drama teacher. I also teach speech and debate and theater production. Really been enjoying the reading assignments so far for this chapter or for this class. This week we read about the group theater and the early influences of the Russian Moscow Art Theater, and as well as Boleslavsky and Olashenko and all those different great hard to remember Russian names, but they all had an impact. Coming when they did, it was right at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. Mass inventions were changing things so much, and the invention of the telegraph, the telephone, electricity, all this is happening in this time period. So the world was rapidly changing. So they got this early glimpse in the 1920s of examples of a different type of theater. And how great would it have been to have gotten to see that production of The Cherry Orchard? I'm sure it just must have really changed their lives when they saw that. And I can only imagine the wonder and awe to think, hey, there is a better way, a different way. We don't have to, recite our lines declamatorially style and, face the audience at all times and not develop a character for if you're a minor background character. So all of that was just so different, from the Russian perspective. And then, it's really interesting how things formed with the group theater, with the different schools of thought. So the Lee Strasberg, Stella Adler split in the group theater is very interesting, and I enjoy reading about it. I tend to more agree with the Stella Adler, Sanford Meisner side of that argument. But, it has to be said that Lee Strasberg found something that really did work. It really did work for the performances that he got out of his actors and for training, and then for years after that, after the group theater disbanded, he was one of the most important acting teachers of the 20th century. So it can't be totally discounted. So I'm looking forward to next week being able to read about the Lee Strasberg method. I've never really delved into it. I was more of a Uta Hagen, which kind of has some of that emotional memory recall in it as well, but not to the extent I think that Strasberg went. So I'm looking forward to that for next week. I thought that Stella Adler getting that opportunity to go to Paris and, just being advantageous that Stanislavski was there and she was able to not only, meet him and thank him for, what he did, but she actually got to train with Stanislavski. And, the emphasis was, on the given circumstances of the story of the play and also on communion with the other actors. And I think that is so significant. In my undergraduate, my director referred to it as creating moments. We're creating moments for the audience, a moment of connection, a moment of realness, of honest transference of emotion. And so, I think that is the most important thing. So like I said, I don't know a lot about Strasberg, but I don't know a lot about Stella Adler either. I mostly studied Sanford Meisner's techniques, but it's exciting reading ahead. I enjoyed these two chapters and I got a lot out of it. So thank you.